Hello Zenith women and welcome to the channel. She doesn't follow the pack, she leads herself. And in a world obsessed with conformity, that makes her dangerous. The Sigma female is not just another archetype, she's an enigma, a paradox that refuses to be solved. She's the woman who can walk into a room and shift the energy without uttering a word. Some admire her from a distance, marveling at her self-sufficiency, while others are quietly unsettled, unsure how to control or categorize her. Why? Because she operates outside the playbook society expects her to follow, and that terrifies the weak but inspires the strong. Here's an intriguing fact. Studies show that people who value solitude and independence often have higher emotional intelligence and problem-solving skills. Now imagine wrapping those traits into one confident, boundary-setting, no-nonsense individual. That's a Sigma female. She doesn't want your spotlight. She wants her peace, and she'll burn the rule book to get it. But why is she feared by some and revered by others? Is it because her independence exposes dependency in others? Or maybe it's her uncanny ability to thrive in silence while others flail for attention? Stick around, because what we're about to uncover might just make you rethink everything you thought you knew about strength, power, and what it truly means to live unapologetically. Oh, and a word of caution. If you're easily threatened by someone who doesn't need you, this might sting a little. But for the strong, you're about to meet your muse. Number 1. Skill in turning weakness into armor to a Sigma. Female weakness isn't a flaw, it's raw material. While most people try to hide their imperfections, she confronts hers head-on, breaking them apart and reshaping them into something powerful. This isn't optimism, it's strategy. She doesn't deny her failures, insecurities, or vulnerabilities. Instead, she studies them, understands them, and then transforms them into tools that work for her rather than against her. Where others see failure as an ending, she sees it as a blueprint for innovation. If she's criticized for being too quiet, she becomes a master of observation, using silence to gather information and anticipate moves others don't see coming. If she's told she's too emotional, she channels that energy into creating connections and reading people with unnerving accuracy. In the hands of a Sigma female, the very things meant to limit her become weapons of growth and evolution. This ability to alchemize her perceived flaws terrifies those who fear change. It exposes the fragility of people who cling to perfectionism or avoid discomfort at all costs. To them, weaknesses are liabilities, not opportunities. They're unnerved by her refusal to play by the same rules, by her willingness to embrace imperfection instead of hiding from it. But to the strong, this is awe-inspiring. They see a woman who doesn't just survive adversity, but thrives in its wake. Someone who views every setback as a stepping stone. It's not that she's fearless, it's that she refuses to be defined by her fears. She proves that failure isn't the opposite of success, it's the catalyst for it. That's why Sigma females stand out. They don't run from their weaknesses, they redefine them, and in doing so, redefine what it means to be strong. Number 2. A different kind of altruism. For a Sigma female, altruism isn't about grand gestures or public praise. She doesn't need applause to validate her kindness, nor does she seek recognition for the impact she makes. Her way of giving is quiet, deliberate, and deeply personal. Whether it's offering support, sharing resources, or providing wisdom, she does so without broadcasting her actions. To her, true generosity doesn't come with strings attached. It's simply a reflection of her integrity. This approach unsettles those who thrive on attention. In a world where kindness is often turned into a spectacle, think social media posts captioned "helping the less fortunate," her refusal to play that game can feel threatening. For those who measure worth by visibility, her low-profile support exposes the shallow motivations behind performative acts of charity. They can't quite figure her out, and that lack of control leaves them frustrated. But to those who value authenticity, her altruism is nothing short of inspiring. The strength in her quiet gestures resonates with people who understand the power of sincerity. She's the type to offer help when no one's looking, to guide someone through a storm without expecting credit for it. It's not about the ego for her, it's about the outcome. Her actions ripple in ways that aren't always visible, but they are undeniably impactful. The strong recognize this, appreciating the depth of her generosity and the humility with which she carries it out. To them, her selflessness isn't just admirable, it's a lesson in how to give without taking. This quiet altruism makes her an anomaly. She uplifts, empowers, and impacts lives without demanding acknowledgement. And that, more than anything, is why she's both respected and revered by those who see the value in authenticity over showmanship. Number 3, time benders. For Sigma. Females, time isn't just a resource, it's a tool to be mastered. While others get bogged down in busy work or rigid routines, they take a different approach entirely. They prioritize efficiency over effort, working with a level of focus and precision that makes it seem like they've somehow bent time to their will. They're not rushing or multitasking chaotically. Instead, they cut through the noise, focusing only on what truly matters. This skill isn't about superhuman abilities, but about strategy. Sigma females excel at identifying what's essential and ignoring what's not. They don't waste energy on pointless meetings, social obligations they don't value, or tasks that could be automated or delegated. Their ability to strip away the unnecessary creates a sense of calm urgency. They get more done without ever seeming frantic. To those stuck in traditional time traps, endless to-do lists, rigid schedules, or the obsession with grinding, this approach can feel both mystifying and threatening. Their efficiency challenges the societal norm that success only comes from working harder, longer, and louder. The Sigma female is proof that smarter beats harder every time, which can make those who cling to outdated beliefs about productivity feel insecure or even defensive. But to those who value effectiveness over appearances, she's a revelation. Her mastery of time demonstrates what's possible when you refuse to let outdated systems dictate your life. She doesn't waste her hours trying to impress others with how busy she is. She simply delivers results. This ability to extract more from less makes her stand out. She redefines what productivity looks like and forces others to reconsider how they spend their time. To the observant, she's a reminder that time isn't about quantity, it's about quality, and she's mastered it. Number 4, dual nature of vulnerability. Sigma females possess a unique and deliberate relationship with vulnerability. On the surface, they may appear invincible, calm, composed, and unshaken by external pressures. But beneath this exterior lies a complex depth that they choose to reveal only on their terms. Unlike those who wear their emotions openly, or those who suppress them entirely, Sigma females navigate a middle ground. They display vulnerability with precision as a conscious choice rather than an uncontrollable reaction. This calculated openness is unsettling for those who equate vulnerability with weakness. People accustomed to exploiting emotional displays find themselves disarmed, unable to manipulate or control a Sigma female through her emotions. When she reveals a flaw, a struggle, or a moment of doubt, it's not a plea for sympathy, it's a signal of authenticity, a glimpse of her humanity offered to those she deems worthy of seeing it. For the strong, this dual nature is magnetic. By showing her vulnerabilities intentionally, she demonstrates a profound level of self-awareness and confidence. She knows that true strength isn't about being unbreakable, but about embracing imperfection without shame. This balance between resilience and openness fosters trust in others as they see her as genuine, relatable, and unafraid of her own complexities. Her controlled vulnerability also makes her unpredictable, keeping others on edge. Those who rely on clear emotional patterns struggle to understand her. Is she truly vulnerable, or is she testing the waters? This ambiguity throws off those who thrive on emotional transparency, leaving them uncertain and often intimidated. What sets Sigma females apart is this mastery of their inner world. They don't let vulnerability control them. They control how it's shared and perceived. It's not a flaw to hide, but a tool to build connection and trust, on their terms and no one else's. Number 5, creating systems, not following them. Sigma females don't just think outside the box, they build an entirely new one. They are natural innovators who question the foundations of traditional systems, not out of rebellion, but out of a need for something better, something that works on their terms. While many people conform to societal norms or find comfort in established frameworks, Sigma females see those systems as outdated blueprints, riddled with inefficiencies and unnecessary restrictions. Instead of following the rules, they rewrite them or disregard them altogether. This creative defiance makes them pioneers in their fields, relationships, and personal lives. They don't wait for permission to do things differently, they simply do. Whether it's redefining what success looks like, carving unconventional career paths, or building entirely new communities, their methods are unorthodox but effective. Their lives are proof that traditional isn't always better, it's just familiar. For those invested in legacy systems, this mindset can be deeply unsettling. Institutions, hierarchies, and conventional thinkers often rely on compliance to maintain control. When a Sigma female steps in and dismantles these systems with innovation and efficiency, it feels like a threat to their stability. It's not just her independence that unsettles them, it's the fact that she proves there's a better way. On the other hand, the strong and forward-thinking find her approach electrifying. Her ability to create where others see limitations inspires those who value progress. She isn't reckless or impulsive, she's strategic, building systems designed to last because they reflect her unique vision and values. This ability to architect new ways of thinking isn't just a skill, it's a force. Sigma females challenge the status quo and pave the way for others to rethink how they live and operate. They don't wait for change, they are the change. Number 6. Possession of contradictory strengths. Sigma females are a study in contradictions, seamlessly blending traits that seem to exist on opposite ends of the spectrum. They can be deeply empathetic, understanding and feeling the emotions of others with remarkable clarity, yet remain decisively action-oriented, unafraid to make tough calls when needed. This combination is rare: empathy without paralysis, decisiveness without coldness. It allows them to connect with people on a profound level while still leading with strength and clarity. Similarly, they balance intuition with logic. Their instincts are razor-sharp, often guiding them in situations where facts are scarce or ambiguous. Yet they don't rely solely on gut feelings. They back their decisions with logic and critical thinking. This duality creates a well-rounded approach that's hard to argue with, leaving little room for doubt in their actions. Perhaps most striking is their ability to harmonize independence with connection. While they thrive in solitude and guard their autonomy fiercely, they are not isolated. They forge deep, meaningful relationships, choosing quality over quantity and engaging only when it aligns with their values. This balance between self-reliance and selective connection makes them self-contained yet approachable, a paradox that leaves others intrigued. For the weak, this complexity is confounding. People who see the world in absolutes, either you're emotional or you're logical, either you're independent or you're relational, struggle to comprehend how she can embody both at once. This inability to categorize her becomes a source of discomfort as it challenges their binary thinking. For the strong, however, this intricate blend is captivating. They see in her a reflection of what's possible when opposing strengths are harnessed together. Her contradictions aren't weaknesses, they're proof of her depth and adaptability. It's this harmony of opposites that makes her not just rare but unforgettable. Number 7. Cultural nomadism, Sigma. Females are cultural nomads, navigating the diverse landscapes of ideologies, traditions, and belief systems with ease. They don't feel the need to anchor themselves to one culture, one set of rules, or one way of thinking. Instead, they move fluidly, embracing what aligns with their personal values and discarding anything that feels restrictive or irrelevant. This adaptability isn't born out of rebellion, it's rooted in a desire to live authentically, free from imposed limitations. Their approach is pragmatic. They might borrow mindfulness practices from one culture, career strategies from another, and personal philosophies from yet another, weaving these elements into a unique framework that serves them best. To them, no single system holds all the answers, and they have no problem rejecting the parts that don't resonate. This selective adoption gives them a versatility that makes them equally at home in a boardroom, a grassroots movement, or a remote village. This adaptability is unnerving to those who cling tightly to dogma. People who rely on rigid belief systems for their identity often feel destabilized in the presence of someone who refuses to conform. To them, the Sigma female's ability to pick and choose across boundaries feels threatening. It questions the absoluteness of their worldview. Her existence is a quiet defiance of the idea that there's only one right way to live. But to the open-minded and strong, her cultural nomadism is inspiring. She represents the possibility of living with a global, fluid perspective, unburdened by unnecessary divisions. Her ability to adapt, connect, and thrive across different environments shows that true strength isn't in blind loyalty to one way of life. It's in having the courage to build your own, piece by piece. Number 8. Tangible energy of self-containment. Sigma females operate on a different kind of energy, one that doesn't rely on external validation or the emotional energy of others. While many people are like emotional batteries, constantly draining from their social circles or partners to feel energized, the Sigma female is self-contained. She generates her own power, drawing from within rather than from the approval, attention, or constant reassurance of those around her. This self-sufficiency allows her to remain grounded no matter the chaos or uncertainty happening outside. Her energy is palpable in a room. There's a quiet intensity about her, an aura of focus and independence that doesn't require attention or admiration to thrive. She doesn't need to be the center of the conversation or the object of validation to feel fulfilled. This ability to stand firm in her own energy without needing others to amplify it often leaves people in awe, especially those who are used to relying on external sources for their sense of worth. For those who live in a constant cycle of emotional vampirism, seeking affirmation and validation from others to feel whole, the Sigma female's self-sufficiency can be disorienting. It exposes their reliance on others for emotional survival, creating discomfort because they're forced to confront their own neediness. It's as if her independence holds up a mirror, showing them the fragility of their own emotional foundation. But for those who value inner strength and emotional autonomy, her self-contained energy is magnetic. She represents a kind of power that doesn't diminish when left untended, a force that is always present because it comes from within. To them, she's not just admirable. She's a reminder that true strength lies in the ability to sustain yourself without draining others in the process. Number 9. Exist outside societal algorithms. Sigma females don't operate within the carefully crafted boundaries society has set for them. They reject the comfort of predictable patterns, opting instead to create their own path, one that doesn't adhere to any script, expectation, or formula. They aren't confined by the rules of what a woman should be, how she should behave, or where she should fit in. Instead, they carve out their own identity, free from the limitations imposed by cultural norms, trends, or external judgment. In doing so, they exist outside the societal algorithms that most people unknowingly follow, creating a new narrative for themselves and often for those around them. This unpredictability is unsettling for the weak. People who rely on societal scripts for their identity, those who follow the paths laid out for them because it feels safe and secure, find the Sigma female's independence threatening. She challenges the notion that life must unfold in a certain way, and that disruption is something to be feared. For those who need control, the Sigma female's refusal to conform to any known template is destabilizing. But for the strong, it's a mark of freedom. The Sigma female represents the possibility of living outside the constructs that restrict others. She's the embodiment of what happens when you stop playing by the rules and start creating your own. Her ability to exist outside societal algorithms shows that true freedom isn't about rebellion for the sake of rebellion. It's about having the courage to define yourself without compromise, regardless of what anyone else thinks. For the strong, this is not just admirable. It's a reminder that true power lies in breaking free from the prescribed patterns of the world and living authentically. Number 10. Emotional minimalism. Sigma females have mastered the art of emotional minimalism. choosing to operate with a level of emotional clarity and restraint that many find both refreshing and intimidating. In a world that often thrives on emotional drama and constant fluctuation, they exist with an economy of feeling, discerning exactly when and how to react, and only investing their energy in moments that truly warrant it. They don't indulge in emotional overexposure or get swept up in the waves of drama that can so easily overwhelm others. Instead, they are deliberate and measured in how they express their emotions, offering only what's necessary and reserving the rest for themselves. This approach creates an unsettling contrast for those who live in a constant state of emotional excess, either drowning in their feelings or seeking constant validation. For them, the Sigma female's calm and composed demeanor can feel like a mirror, reflecting just how chaotic their own emotional lives are. Her ability to remain steady while others are swept up in the tides of their own volatility forces them to confront the unchecked emotional indulgence they rely on for identity and connection. But for those who value emotional stability and self-control, her approach is a powerful reminder of what it means to be truly in control of one's feelings. She doesn't need to cry for attention or scream for acknowledgement. She simply reacts when it matters, and in doing so, she holds a level of emotional integrity that many envy. The emotional minimalism practiced by Sigma females doesn't suppress feelings. It simply refines them, making their emotional expression both potent and precise. In a world of emotional noise, Sigma females stand out as a quiet force of emotional clarity. They understand that less truly can be more. And in the simplicity of their emotional economy, they reveal a profound strength that others can only strive to achieve. In a world obsessed with labels, validation, and predictability, the Sigma female stands as a force of nature, impossible to categorize, impossible to control. She doesn't follow the rules, she redefines them. Her strength lies not in loud declarations or outward displays, but in the quiet mastery of her inner world. She is self-sufficient, creating her own energy and effortlessly bending time and expectations to her will. Her contradictions, empathy with decisiveness, intuition with logic, independence with connection, make her a puzzle that can never truly be solved but is endlessly fascinating to those who seek authenticity over conformity. She inspires the strong and unsettles the weak, not through grand gestures, but through the sheer power of her presence and independence. She lives on her terms, creating systems that serve her, not the other way around. The world may try to impose its limitations on her, but she is untouchable, living outside the societal algorithms that bind others. Her ability to exist with emotional minimalism and strategic vulnerability disrupts the predictable, leaving those around her questioning their own comfort zones. To the weak, she is a challenge, a reminder that true strength requires vulnerability, authenticity, and the courage to live outside the boxes that society creates. To the strong, she is a muse, a symbol of what is possible when one embraces their true self without apology. The Sigma female doesn't just live, she redefines what it means to be truly free, and in doing so, she leaves an indelible mark on those who encounter her. Her power isn't in dominating others. It's in existing so unapologetically, so completely, that she becomes a force that cannot be ignored. If you found yourself captivated by the power and complexity of the Sigma female, there's so much more to discover. Don't miss out on more thought-provoking insights and unique perspectives. Hit that subscribe button now. Join a community that celebrates authenticity, strength, and the unapologetic pursuit of living life on your own terms. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Stay tuned and remember, the journey to true freedom begins with the courage to think differently.